Hello guys, welcome again, and today I'm going to show you how you can create a scene like this within Blender and with the help of geonodes and a simple lighting settings. So let's get started without delaying anything. So the first thing we need is creating the node setup for geometry nodes. Delete everything from the viewport and add a cube. Now after adding the cube, just drag the timer slider and go to geometry node editor and create a new geometry node. After creating a new geometry node, you can see now search for mesh to volume, and there you go. Add that volume and then distribute points in volume, and our points are distributed in the volume. You can reduce and decrease anything, but we need it in grid. So after creating grid, you can see it formed in a grid pattern, and we continue doing this thing. Now we need to create our cubes. For that we need an instance on point. So instance on point, and we need the instance which is the cube. So just search for a cube now and add it in the instance node, and you can see we have cubes, but they are large, so make it 0.1, and you can see already it's already done. But we need a few more adjustments, so just adjust the Z and Y value according to your scene. Okay, I'm okay with this one. The next thing we need to do here is, as you can see, it's already setting that way, so we are going to it in Y-axis. Just go to edit mode, click on face select, and just G and Y to long the face, or you can say like longer the thing gonna be. It looks more there. So that much is okay, I guess. Now you can make it larger or use more scales. So either you can go to edit mode and can do that, but I am doing it from the viewport, so I'm just doing it, and then Control A and then scale. So now you have a bunch of cubes inside a cube. Now we need to import the asset. You can see I am going to use this astronaut model from Homeless Models, and you need to sign in and download the model. Either you can download in FBX format or in GLB format. I prefer GLB format for this tutorial, so just download the GLB 2K version in your computer, nothing much. Okay, now we have come back to the geometry nodes, and we need to import our model here. Just going to import, and if you import in FBX, so FBX, and there you go, GLB file. Now find where your model is and just import. Now after importing, if you mistakenly click outside of that model, just select it from the, you can just rotate and scale that thing now, so it is front facing, and I guess it need to be a bit smaller than this, so just do that thing. Okay, I guess this is enough. A bit more, and yeah, this is what we wanted for our scene. Now you can either extrude in edit mode or in normal mode. Just expand the above and both sides, because we are going to render it in horizontal way. So yeah, this is enough, I guess. Yeah, now you can go to any side and place your camera like this, and you can just unlock the camera from here and set it and then lock it again. So it's easy. Now as my camera is locked, you can see this is our scene going to look. Now duplicate this cube and just go to the modifiers tab and remove the geonode modifier, so we get our cube back. Now go to edit node and make sure to cover every single thing in the viewport except the camera. So I'm covering the astronaut model and also the cubes inside, so everything is covered now. Now go to visibility and viewport display and make it wire so we can see it from the outside. Now you can go in every direction and just make sure that nothing is going outside of that box, because it's going to be our volume. Now for this section we need, if you just going to rotate it, it will not rotate, so just click it from there and then rotate it. Now rotate it how you prefer it. This is how I like it. Just make sure you have a gap between those and a bit gap between this cube shape. So yeah, we need to place lights there. Now we need to randomize the scale of those cubes. So just add a random value node. There you go. And just connect it with the scale. And we are done here. Just make the minimum value 0.5. So yeah, it's not like 0 to just like disappear any cube. We need every cube, just smaller and bigger. So as you can see, we have now our cubes. Now same for the rotation also. Just duplicate the random value node and make sure before connecting, I just made a mistake. Just before connecting its vector, so just make it in rotation and you can see it's rotating nicely. Yeah, so we need a total 360 degree turn in the z-axis. So as you know, like a full circle is defined as pi, so we going to write here pi and it will give us a whole circle. So now it's good, and you can change the seat for your preference also. Now as you can see, we have our volume cube, so we need to add volume in our scene. Just create a material, just name it volume or wall, whatever you need. Now one thing, sometimes you may lost your node, so make sure just click home in your keyboard and it will came just where it is. Okay, so make sure wherever it is, just click home on your keyboard and it will center your graph. It does not matter how much bigger your graph is, but it will always center your graph, so no need to lost your graph in graph editor now. Next you need to delete the principal shader and add principal volume and connect it to the volume. Now we have volume in our scene, but we can't see it from viewport, so just change it to EV to cycles and GPU compute and then go to render view. And now you can see we have our volume. Just make sure it's not that dense, so just reduce the density a bit will help. Reduce a bit more. Okay, that's good. So this is what we want. You can just go to render view by pressing Z and then rotate the circle here. Okay, so we need a light straight to the camera. Those things need to be a bit darker because it reflects light. So just make a material named cube and make it a bit darker. Let's add a noise texture. Also add a mapping node. And a texture coordinate text and press the object to the vector. So we now have our default set. Now we need another node which is color ramp to mix the factors and values. So just add it. Just change the parameter to 30. Detail is like 5, roughness is 0.8, and there you go. But you can't really see any materials in the cubes because as you can see, like, it's nothing changing because you need to change it from geometry nodes. So just go to geometry nodes and add a set material. There you go, a set material, and it will just add the material you added in the geometry nodes. So just search for that. We have cube, and there you go. Now you have your materials assigned to your cubes, what you created. Now you can change it from here. See, easy. Now it's all done. The main thing is done now. For the lighting, we need area lights. Yeah, you can definitely use spotlights or something you want, but for this tutorial and for the look of it, we need area light. Okay, so just bring it back and make sure it's just from the chest length of our astronaut, because we just need just behind the astronaut. So just make sure it in the center. Also, I am going to make the astronaut a bit more center because it's, I guess, a bit sidewise. And yeah, you can see now it's in the center, and from the camera view you can see also this is what you're gonna look at first. Also, if you need more fast renders, just turn on those two settings. I'm not saying much about it right now, just remember it will reduce your render time and in the viewport basically. So select the light, area light which you selected. You can press M from viewport and just make a collection of light. It's not necessary, it depends on you, but if you like organize things, so you can do that also. Okay, so we have a light where we just store lights. It is best for some cases, so because we're using many lights, that's why I created that. Now go to the light setting and you can see the spread value. Just reduce it and you can see some things happening right now. So as you reduce the value, you can see we have our look. Just increase the power of the light and yeah, we have that look. You can either increase the size also, the light, and you can see we have a little bit color of the world, so make it 0. There you go. We have our base ready. Now the thing we need is another light from upwards to the main character. So add another area light and just GX, go just below the feet, and then GY, go just above, and from there just a bit down. Okay, now go to the light settings, make the square where you can see this is a square light right now, so make the square to disk and it will create it a circle right now. So make the spread to 45 degrees. It's important for the look of it, but yeah, you can play along and try new spread limits to to your preference. So I am just making the background a bit bluish, background light mainly. So yeah, it will give the feel of like the contrast of the white light and the background light. And you can see we already have a bit of characteristic in our scene. But yeah, we need few more things to do. The first thing is we need another light from here to project only on the astronaut. So create another light and just go that way and a bit up. Now either you can press the yellow ball or just press Shift T and click wherever you want, so it will snap to that location. So Shift T or the yellow ball. Now go to your camera view and you see, if now I increase the value, you can see we have a light here, but we don't need it. We just need it on the astronaut. If you're using Blender 4 or above version, you can go to object view and then you can see visibility and shading. Go to shading and you can see light group, and below is light linking. That's what we need. Or you can search it from the search box, light linking, and go here and then shading. You need light linking. So now the thing we need is we need to select this cube, because we don't want this cube interact with this light. So select the cube, then select the light and just drag the cube from here and turn off that checkbox. Now the cube will not react. Also I am just doing same with the cube, bunch of cubes, because we don't need to react either. I just need to react it with the astronaut. So now you can see we are done. Now click the light. If you increase, decrease, whatever you do, it does not matter. So I'm making it a bit reddish. You can see red. And if you increase, it will only affect the astronaut, nothing else, because we just turn off both of them. So go back to our main value. Make it 20, I guess. 20 looks good. And also the spread limit is 30, I guess. We need to spread it to the whole body. Yeah, we need a little less red, so it depends. You can also turn the saturation probably a bit more. So this is what you need for now. The red color is coming from here, and we're going to duplicate this value because we need another light only affecting the astronaut. So just duplicate it and place it somewhere behind the astronaut, definitely. So just place it somewhere behind. So there you go. So it will be our rim light, or you can say backlight. Now make it blue, so it will be the same as the light coming from behind the astronaut. And you can see we already get a little bit of our rim light, and you can play around with those settings and power, the spread limit, and check like how it looks. We need a little bit further from the astronaut, and Shift T, so it's easily just connect this. And you can see it right now. We have shades here, and all the way here we can see we have a little bit shade here. Just decrease the spread limit, and you can see we can press it 0 also, but yeah, we need a little bit softer light is better. Make it 85, and you can see we have all the way here. This is, I guess, all good now. And this is how you can light your scene with light linking, which is very helpful for many cases, right? So we have now our 4 lights here. Now for the render settings, this is what I am using. Noise threshold, max sample 512, the denoiser is Optic X, the lights is nothing changing, the advance is also nothing changing. In light path, I am just turning off the caustics because we don't need it in the scene, and the default value, all the things are default. Now before rendering, we need few things to do. The most important thing is we need our foreground, midground and background. So for that, I am adding a cube. So this is going to be our foreground, which give our scene a bit of depth. Now make sure it resembles the back of the character, like those bricks, cube bricks. So yeah, just turn it, rotate it and set it in the scene. Now press Alt D, so you linked the thing. So if you change anything in here, it will change there. So make sure just link duplicate this, because if you duplicate bunch of things, then it's difficult to connect the textures in all of them. So if you just connect one texture in any of them, it will connect. Now we need depth of field. So go to the camera and just making this order. So go to the camera, then go here in the camera data and press depth of field option. Press from here also the depth of field option. Now you can see the depth of field in your viewport, and those are also a bit of blurry. Now you can either press this eyedropper or use the distance slider to adjust your distance. F-stop is like the aperture of the camera, so the lower it goes, the blurrier the background and the foreground becomes. But don't make it too low, because it will not look much realistic. It looks like some like super tiny world or like microscopic world. So just don't make it that small. You make it 1.2 or 1 in max if you need it. You can see we have a blur background, a blur foreground, and our focused mid. Now for those, we need the same material as those. So just go to any of them and apply the cube material that we created. Now as they are linked, so they all get the cube material assigned with them. But make sure what happening here is, because we did not apply the scale, so just Ctrl Shift A and scale. Now you can see the details in the bricks. Okay, then as you can see in the renders, it will look exactly how you want. This is the foreground. You can make another light and light link the foreground. Now we are going to render. So okay, this render took me 20 seconds, as you can see. Depending on your PC, it will take much longer or lesser. You can go to rendering settings and you can see your rendered, then go to image and save. You can save your image from here. But we need a little more effect. So go to Compositing tab. After going to Compositing tab, press use nodes and you get these two nodes. Now this node, add a node which called viewer. And you need another node called glare. My mistake, it's glare. Okay, so use the glare node and you can see we already have something star like shape. So just reduce the threshold and wait a bit for compile. Okay, now you can see we have a little more things. Just don't make it 0, it will like close and make it fog, because we need foggy low. Make the size highest and make the quality high, so we get the high quality glow we need it. Now, after adding the glare node, we need a bit lens distortion. So just add the node lens distortion and you can find it. So after adding the lens distortion, make sure to check the project or projector option, because if you don't use a projector option, it will stretch and like change your image size or things like that. Just make sure you have project, but if you use project, the distortion does not matter. Okay, we need this thing that will do the thing like chromatic aberration, you know, like separating the red, green and blue channel. So just make me 0.5 and you can see the results. If you can't, then make it 1. Now you can see we have separated the red, green, blue a bit. So just make it 0.5 is enough, I guess. Yeah, that's enough. We have a little bit of chromatic aberration in our scene. We need to change this image. Just set it and make the drop sheet to image editor. Make sure it is very important scene. So if you don't need to re-render all the things again, just make it render result and you change the render result. You can see the render result, nothing changed. Just remove and rejoin, and there you go, you changed the result. And now you can simply, you can see we have all the changes whatever we did in the image. And now you can easily just download this image or save this image from here. Go to image and then go to save option and you can save it. Now you can change the PNG value or JPEG value or any of the things, but I think you can save it in default values also. So guys, that's all I guess, and hope you can learn something. And yeah, you can change many things later on in a video editor or something. So make sure to do those changes and you are ready to go. So see you next day in a new tutorial.